Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Thursday. Let's talk about soulmates. We'll begin with the Greek myth and Plato's misgivings about it. So basically, the myth tells us the story that human beings once had 2 heads, 4 arms, and 4 legs. And apparently we were quite powerful and imposing in this particular condition, and Zeus became concerned this would cause problems, including problems for the gods. So his solution was to take a lightning bolt and then split humans in half and then scatter them. And once that happened, people became preoccupied with searching for their other half, understandably enough. They wanted to find wholeness, they wanted to feel complete again, and they wanted to experience a lasting love when reunited. And it was essentially the Greek explanation for why we have masculine and feminine characteristics. So Plato apparently disliked this idea just a lot, and he went so far as to declare that it was just completely immature. He countered the idea of soulmates with the idea that a relationship has to begin with the understanding that both parties are radically independent individuals and it isn't good to get too close, and independence from each other needs to be maintained. And the debate about what does or does not constitute a healthy, mature, romantic relationship is still going full steam today. There are debates about soulmates. There are debates about whether or not it would even be desirable to have one. But if they exist, I mean, how could that be? Or is this just a romantic idea that's just, full of poetry and not much else? What does it take for 2 people to be happy together over the long term? The human race has not figured this out, and I don't imagine we ever will. Love isn't science. And I mean, if it was, we probably would have reduced it to a formula by now, but clearly we haven't. It's just not how it works. So let's move on to some of the semantic arguments and the intellectual vanity that I encountered when I was researching for this video. Because while I was doing that preparation, suffice it to say that I have remained unimpressed at the level of discourse on this particular topic. I don't think anyone's looking at it through a sensible lens, and I feel like whatever source I'm consulting, I'm finding out more about that person's ideas rather than a more objective discussion about the topic in and of itself. I just don't think there's a good, solid examination of it thus far. Now, I did consult some sources that came from academic circles, and there were several professors in those sources who they completely agree with Plato, but their manner of expressing themselves, it said more about the high opinion they have of their own intellect than it did about the subject matter, so I didn't find it particularly helpful and not at all useful to quote here. And then I looked at pagan commentary, and it was just a cacophony. Just absolute madness. There was disagreement about definitions, all kinds of competing terms flying around, soulmate, twin flames, anam cara, eternal mates, etc., etc., etc. It was all very confused. And I wasn't really gleaning anything useful out of it. So I think we'll get further with just deciding to engage in some personal reflection on the subject. So we'll block out the noise and we'll just look at the idea with as fresh eyes as what we possibly can. Because there was a time when I just flat out dismissed the possibility of soulmates being real or having any kind of substance in any sense of the term. Part of this was an attempt to not have unrealistic expectations in life, not getting lost in unduly romantic views of life and relationships. But I was also trying to inoculate myself against disappointment. Well, I think the results of that particular pursuit were mixed at best. And I don't think that the question of soulmates, do they exist, do they not, what are they, what does it mean, I don't really think it's a black and white issue. And one thing that leads me to believe that there might be something to this is because the concept of wholeness and that kind of unity between 2 beings, at least within paganism, this isn't confined to the Greek myth about soulmates. I mean, for example, the god and the goddess, are they not 2 beings who make a larger whole? Do they not have a romantic relationship? Are they not, the divine lovers and the divine mother and father of the universe itself? This doesn't mean that they aren't individuals, only that their union makes them stronger, and they benefit from each other, and their energies are complementary. They're not competing against one another. They're not trying to annihilate each other. They are working together in this very nice, cohesive way. And this is the general train of thought I'm on when it comes to soulmates. that they are two complementary beings coming together to form something greater than what either one can be on their own. Now, some will argue that this isn't necessarily a romantic union, but I do find that logically inconsistent. When it comes to becoming one with someone, that's not something we do with our friends or our relatives or business associates. The becoming one with someone is a union of the mind, heart, body, and soul. And I think that is unique to romantic relationships. But what do you think? I realize this is one of those videos where I'm more so broaching the subject than I am going into any particular depth, just because I think the discussions about this in any serious way are very much in their infancy, and I would like to hear some feedback. I would like to hear other people's ideas, if they have any personal experiences, if they think they have a soulmate, if they believe they know who it is, if they have a relationship with this person. I would just be interested in hearing about the mechanics of all that. And at the very least, I think we can probably have just as a productive discussion amongst ourselves as it is as we would consulting people who've already spoken to this topic. So let me know. You can come see me at Blackbird's Brew on Discord. There's a link to join in the description box below. And you can always comment on this video. But in the meantime, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.